Okay, so let's see. So the fifth track is called Hard to Love, and it's got Freddie Wexler working on this track. Okay, so it says here that this is performed by Rose as a solo. Guitar pop track, elements of 90s rock and roll, some soft piano vintage intro, contrast with a powerful rhythm of the drop beat, building into a light disco and pop rock sound with funk inspired guitar and bass. Okay. Interesting. So let's get an idea for what track 5 is like. This is called Hard to Love.
Ain't no magic to fix it. You should keep your distance. I'm only telling you because I care. 'Cause I'm hard to love, find it hard to trust. When it feels too good, I just get up. You want all of me, I can't give that much. So don't fall too hard, 'cause I'm hard to love. I'm hard to love.
Oh man.
Never meant to cause you a problem. Here I am yet once again with the same old story. You don't see the issues I got in. Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's true. I'll make you feel like heaven, but I swear I'm not a saint. And you won't see the truth, 'cause I'll be kissing it away. Yeah, I'll be all you need until I'm driving you insane. Baby, all I'm trying to do is save the pain. 'Cause I'm hard to love, find it hard to trust. When it feels too good, I just get up. You want all of me, I can't give that much. So don't fall too hard, 'cause I'm hard to love. I'm hard to love.
That bass.
Till I'm down, I'm all in, till I'm out. Got a lot to work out, till it's all behind me. You know you don't play a fight in the dark, protect your heart. Ain't no going back once you start. I'm trying to be nice. I'm hard to
Oh, killer bass in that chorus part, man. When that comes in, I see what they were talking about with the way that beat drops as soon as the chorus comes in. That's a funky bass, and then the guitar, whenever it's funk style guitar playing, of course it's mostly rhythm, and it almost becomes more like a percussion. So you'll have a lot of muted strings, right? You'll have a chord that's held, but it's just muted, and you get that wah, chicka, wah, chicka, wah, wah, like that. That makes it a little bit more percussive, as opposed to a sort of chorusy or melodic type of sound. And in the verse section, it definitely, I see what they were talking about with the 90s style guitar part. Not heavy distortion. Something, it kind of reminds me of bands like Live, maybe. Lightning Crashes. Like if you think of the guitar sound on that song, that's what they're talking about, right? It's just sort of that 90s light distortion, maybe with a little bit of reverb on it, but other than that, not really anything except for the chord progression that they're playing through. again, Rose's voice, right? It's just, it's so good. It's so good, man. I love the way it makes me feel, right? Just it makes me feel this because there's always a little bit of like tension between, like I said, those uppers and those mids and lowers, and it's just so nice whenever she like lays into something and puts more breath behind it, and you get more of that, like it opens up and you hear both more of the upper and the mids and lowers, and it's just such a rich sound in a single voice, which is the best like aspect of it. The lyrics in this one are a bit spicy, like but it works because when that chorus comes around and that beat drop comes in, and it's so strong and it's so sort of defiant, but at the same time that funk sort of progression and the bass and the guitar that come in behind that drop, there's something really like sweet and sort of upbeat, like, so it's really catchy and it's really fun. But she does have like some spicy sort of harder lyric in here, right? And it just, again, it correlates with the concept of this hard to love thing, because it's like that. It's like a sweet, attractive girl who's got that little bit of an edge that you're like, at first you're like, oh, and then you get hit with that edge and you're like, oh, that's a little edgy, that's a little risky, that's a little like, I'm not sure if I can handle this or not. But it's a very cool song, man. This is an interesting approach, an interesting take on a solo sort of vocal effort here. But it's a cool track, man. I really like the way that they do have that contrast between the verse and the chorus sections. It has a very nice bridge too. In my opinion, the bridge is always like the trickiest part. It's you don't even know when you sit down to write something whether or not you want to have a bridge. That's not something that normally comes around until you have something pretty much laid down already. And there might be some, like, while you're working out the main idea, you might have this where you do something different with a chord or whatever, and you think, I don't know, for a main sound, I don't know if that works or not, but maybe for a bridge, things like that. But this is a solid bridge, for the entire song here. So overall, it's a damn good song, man. It's nice to just hear that Rose voice sound all the way through. And I know that there's been some other like songs that have been done where it's either maybe just Rose or even just Jisoo, right? Like I need to go back and listen to some of that, because what a treat, just to hear something like that. Let's see. Moving on to track number 6. Okay. So it says it's a down-tempo. It's called The Happiest Girl, and it says down-tempo piano ballad track. We get a grand piano instrumentals. Lyric has about a strong will to find happiness despite missing someone. Melancholic melody to convey a desire for contentment. Rock-infused ballad. Let's see. Now, what's interesting to me about this one is that it has a production credit for Teddy Sinclair and Willie Sinclair. Now, Teddy Sinclair performed and recorded under the name Natalia Kills, if I'm not mistaken, and some other work. Now, I'm actually familiar with some of Natalia Kill's work. I think it was, I don't know, 2012 or 2013, somewhere around there, where I did hear an album. I think it was called Controversy. I know that there was a track on the album that was called Controversy. It was actually a really interesting sort of mix of pop sounds. My favorite track that was on that album was actually called Out of Time, and it was kind of a throwback, also a ballady kind of a thing, like almost like a 50s pop rock kind of a sound, mostly because of the guitar. It was a reverb heavy guitar with a little bit of delay on it. Great chord progression in A minor, and she could sing, man. Like Natalia Kills on that track, she's singing, and it's really, really great. It's to this day, it's a song that I actually really enjoy. So let's see what they did for this one, because it's kind of sounding like it might be in the same vein. Track number 6, The Happiest Girl.
Don't hold my hand, don't back me back, don't say that we'll make it through this. If I'm so beautiful, then why? The doors we slammed, the plates we smashed, echo with the sound of madness. I can't remember why we tried. My heart only wants you. But tonight I'll be the happiest girl in the world. You'll see, like it doesn't matter. Tonight I'll be the happiest girl in the world. You'll see, like it never happened. I can't stop the tears if I want to. I can't stop the tears if I want to. I can't stop the tears if I want to. But tonight I'll be the happiest girl in the world. You'll see, like it never happened. Don't make a saint where words are pain. The past and the perfect picture. There's no one else to blame this time. Don't change the truth, we can't undo the high we chase till the crash. No, you're not the one who gets to cry. My heart only wants you. The moment you say no. But tonight I'll be the happiest girl in the world. You'll see, like it doesn't matter. Tonight I'll be the happiest girl in the world. You'll see, like it never happened. I can't stop the tears if I want to. I can't stop the tears if I want to. I can't stop the tears if I want to. But tonight I'll be the happiest girl in the world. You'll see, like it never happened. All it takes is a smooth pop of a bottle top to fix a heart, a broken heart, baby. All it takes is a little rolling paper. Take us to the start, go back to the start. But tonight I'll be the happiest girl in the world. You see, like it doesn't matter. Tonight I'll be the happiest girl in the world. You see, like it
So actually thinking back on what I remember of that Natalia Kills album, this does sound like something she would write. Actually, now that I'm like hearing it, seeing the lyrics, this does sound like something that she would write. What a great display, demonstration of how these girls can sing. Wow, this album got very pink, didn't it? I mean, from where it starts, from Pink Venom and from Shut It Down. Wow, we've gone like all over the place. We've gone very, very far. Oh man, I wonder. Wow. Okay. Huh. It's very good. It's a very good mix. It's a very good, I'm talking overall the album right now. Wow. So interesting. So interesting. What a different approach. Just completely just different. The piano part is a very, very clever composition. It's going, and then on the third chord, it starts walking back up, and to go back to the one. I don't know for certain because I don't have the music, but it sounds like there's probably a sixth chord in there then, if they're walking back up on the bass part. And then in the second verse, you get the chords are being arpeggiated in the right hand. Like it's a very, very, it's exactly what I would do if I was trying to compose something like this. The beginning section might have more complete just chord harmony sound with the like I play the whole chord at the same time, and then in the second verse when it comes around, that's exactly what you do. It's exactly what you do. You arpeggiate those chord sounds in the right hand, because harmony makes melody. Okay, harmony always makes the melody is derivative of harmony. It's not the other way around. So it's a very, very almost textbook approach to how you would compose the piano part for this song. It's like spot on. It's perfect. Again, a solid bridge here. Interesting the way that it's written, right, on this track as opposed to the previous tracks. God, and the voices, it's all singing. This is all sung. Very nice rhythms on Lisa's part when the bridge comes in, right? The way she changes it up there, it's a little bit more syncopated. To fix a broken heart, all it takes is a smooth pop of a bottle top. That's a very good syncopation on. It's what you could do a similar thing if your styling was a rap styling, but this is sung, and it just works. It just works so well. It works really, really well, man. Like really well. And that bridge section, pop of a bottle top, a little rolling paper, that's, to me, that just screams like Natalia Kills. That's, when I heard that, I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely something that, they would have written, for sure. Wow, but for it basically being, the last chorus section too, when that very, very strong sort of synth percussion comes in, and you finally get the kick, and really like it's crisp. I would describe it as crisp with all that reverb that's on there. You get these hits that they just sort of like crash and sort of spread out, right? So there's a very crisp sort of sound that comes in, which is nice to fill in sort of all the air that's going on around the rather minimalistic piano part. For it being such a minimalistic overall like arrangement, it ends up being a very, very rich, full, colorful texture, and it's all between the vocal parts that we have going on here and this great singing by all the members. Jenny sounds fantastic in this, dude. Just they all sound so good, and then between the vocals and the piano part that's really carrying and driving the progression of the song, it ends up being a very, very nice full sound. So this is interesting, man. This is super, super interesting. Like, okay, so we got one more track here called Tally. Let's see, because we went sort of more pink, right, from being a little bit more blackish at the beginning, right? So let's see where Tally goes to kind of, and then, because remembering that this album ends with Ready for Love, actually. So let's see. It's a rock-infused ballad called Tally, mid-tempo pop, elements of hip-hop and rock, and crunchy guitar in the intro. Okay. Lyrics about positivity and beauty of achieving life goals. A free yet elegant mood. Present their free spirit while speaking openly about the importance of being oneself. Okay. Let's see. Let me bring up the lyrics here. Oh, goodness. Rose is very spicy on this album.
Cause you say so.
Okay, so it's doing that thing again where it's like between the concept lyrically, they're yeah, okay, so it is a blend. All right, yeah, it's you get both sides. You get both the black and the pink side in this one, for sure. That crunchy guitar sound, yeah, it's a bit crunchy. That's going to be between the distortion that's applied and then also the reverb. The distortion is the initial sort of bite, but the reverb that keeps that sort of crackly aspect of it around. That's what fills out the texture to give it a crunchy sort of a feel there. The hat part is doing something in this, where it does sort of like a shuffle, and it's not constant throughout, but every time it comes around, it's very nice, and it makes it feel almost like a dance, it's, and then it's not there, and then it's like it's actually a pretty cool part in the percussion. Like a massive bass sound in this, like for the sort of ballady kind of song that it is. Like, this is a massive bass, dude. I think it's like a 808. But it's a huge 808, man. Like, it's fat and bouncy and really, really deep. Like, holy heck, it's quite a bass sound in here. Man, and they're getting like very, very spicy. They're getting very, very edgy, like lyrically, I whatever. I mean, go for it. You know what I mean? Go for it. It's who's gonna tell them? It is kind of like they say, right? Nobody's saying. I mean, who's going to? It's interesting, man. So now that having heard the rest of the tracks on this album, I don't anybody who says that they haven't, there's a lack in the musical development or something, I don't hear it, man. I'm hearing I'm hearing different stuff on all layers, on in every aspect. I'm hearing different sounds in the mix. I'm hearing I do hear some rhythmical patterns in a lot of their vocal parts that are like, to me, to my experience so far and what I've heard, it's like that's BLACKPINK, right? Like, there are certain rhythmic patterns in the rap parts and in the vocal parts that when I hear them, I'm like, oh, this is definitely BLACKPINK. Like, yes, this is BLACKPINK. But I'm also hearing different things. I'm hearing a departure and an incorporation of different rhythmic patterns, especially in some of these songs that have more singing featured in them, right? I don't know, man. I guess I do have to go back and listen to the first album still. But if I compare this to, the stuff that I have heard, going back to like Whistle and Boombaya, and I'm not hearing exactly the same things. I'm not as familiar. Yes, of course it is familiar, but I don't feel like they're not developing in some way. Perhaps, like I said, some of the production credits, the Becca Boom track, and some of those first tracks too are kind of like, okay, this is very familiar. And maybe it's because some of these other tracks are a bit more ballady, a bit more laid back, and a bit more down tempo. Like, I don't know, maybe people were expecting them to kind of go hard the whole time or something. But I think it's actually like a pretty interesting album production take, sort of overall, like I don't, but that's my assessment of it. Anyways, I think that they are definitely sort of growing into the direction that they want to move into. It'll be interesting to do the first album and see what the production credits are, who was working on that one, if Becca Boom's working on that one, who else, because I don't know. My take is that definitely does display some development, some movement, perhaps in a specific direction that they want to go in. Lyrically, that's certainly the case, and like I said, a lot of the rhythmic patterns, some very interesting mix and compositional choices and approaches here that are, give it a very much see, and the album is called Born Pink, and I think that this album does, it when it starts off, we're very much on the black side, and that's what they sort of released. When they released Pink Venom and Shut Down, so everyone's like, oh, okay. But this album, to me, my sensibilities and what I know so far, this album ends up going in a very much, towards the pink side, very much. So I think that is consistent with what the title represents as far as the concept with Born Pink, right? I think that's why we get the sounds that we get on here. Hey, overall, I gotta say this album has an entire spectrum, from the black side to the pink side. The first 3 tracks very much black side, and they're really good, man. Like as I have said about K-pop music in general, I'll hear something for the first time, and I get an assessment of it, but every single time that I go back and I listen to one of these songs again, I'm hearing like something that I didn't hear before the first time or the second time or the third time or whatever. And every single time that I listen to it, it tends to get better and better and better. That's been the case for me with the first 3 songs that, having already heard them, Pink Venom and Shut Down, man, those are really good, man. Those are like absolute bangers, Ready for Love, that's one of my favorite K-pop songs, actually. Ready for Love, just it was the first song that I heard from BLACKPINK, but it's really good, man. It's really good. Like, I go back and I listen to that one, and it just, it's so good. It's really good, man. Like, for it being a departure from kind of what they normally do, it's a great song, man. So overall, I gotta say that this is a solid album. It's a good album. It encapsulates its concept quite well, actually, quite well. So yeah, that's the Born Pink album review from BLACKPINK. It's only their second album, man. You know what I mean? So let's see, what else they have in store. They're kicking off their world tour already, and if I know basically the music industry like I do, and what I know about K-pop and some of these groups so far, like I think, because they typically sort of have released content rather slowly, but I think that they have more ideas sorted out already than you'd probably anticipate. Like it's really like an inclination of mine. It's my gut feeling, but I don't think it'll be all that long before we get another album. I could be wrong, I could be wrong, of course, but my gut tells me that they have like a bit more already worked out than what you probably think. But they have to go take care of the tour part and everything now. Probably take a break after that, and then they'll come back and start putting all that stuff together. So with that being said, this wraps up our second Zocast Productions album review. BLACKPINK, Born Pink. Hey man, it's solid. It's BLACKPINK, dude. It's BLACKPINK. It's exactly what it should be, and it's the direction that they're moving in. If this album, if I have maybe described it correctly by saying this album skews a little bit more to the Pink side, along with what I said about them having plenty of stuff in store already, I wouldn't be surprised if the next album after this goes like super black side. Like I wouldn't be shocked if that's what happened. You know what I mean? So we have that to look forward to. So let me know what you think. A lot of people have been anticipating this album review, wanted to hear some of my takes on the songs that were included here. So let me know if you agree, if you disagree, if there's some additional insights or information, if you have a little bit more of the tea as far as maybe what's going on, let me know so I can have a good idea of what's coming. But again, I enjoyed the whole thing, loved it. This is my second full K-pop album, right? And hey, so far, I am not at all disappointed by the genre or what it has to offer. I mean, I've done only the best, man. The two albums I've done so far, it's been twice, and it's been BLACKPINK. It's been the absolute tops, biggest, groups in the industry right now. So, Born Pink, by BLACKPINK, solid album. If you haven't gotten it already, go ahead and pick you up a copy and enjoy it, because it's a very enjoyable BLACKPINK album, and I look forward to their next outing. Also need to go back and do the first album, so that's definitely going to be on the agenda. So thank you very much for joining me on this one, and I'll see you for the next album review. Not sure what it's going to be yet, but it's coming up. So yeah.